Okay, everybody, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed, hearing over the two videos the story of Pig Lady. That's the story that my late uncle, who just died in January, told me. God rest his soul, he was a good man. A very good man. And I miss him. He used to tell some pretty good, wicked good stories, as you've heard. Now, I want to talk about another place in Wilder called Bobby Mackey's. And like I mentioned before, I'm, working on a urban legend, scary story type book of, and I forgot to mention, it's of like northern Kentucky and, Cincinnati a little bit. And, this ties in with like Bobby Mackey's and stuff. I've personally never set foot in the building, and no, I probably won't either. You couldn't get me to go in there. The place just alone being outside sufficient for me. Trust me, I have no intention of going inside. You couldn't drag me in there. It's called the Gateway to Hell. I'll tell you. The place back in the 1800s was a slaughterhouse. And there was a woman named Pearl Bryant murdered inside of there by a couple of guys. And if you pay attention to my videos, I mentioned them to you. The guy's name wasn't Washington, it was something different, but it started with a W, and I can't think of it offhand now either. It was something like Washington, and it wasn't, but it was a big deal. And Pearl Bryant was a lady of some substantial means in her day. Well, her family was, her parents were. And she fell in love with Alonzo, and he, cut her head off after a botched abortion. So I felt sorry for her. And Bobby Mackey, I do have a MySpace page. He's actually on my friends list. Bobby Mackey's wife actually was attacked in the actual building, believe it or not. The story is, excuse me, and she was about 4 to 6 months pregnant at the time. She ended up, thank God, living, and so did the baby. She ended up, the ghost of Alonzo, supposedly when Bobby Mackey's wife was, like I said, 6 to 7 months pregnant, one of the ghosts supposedly kicked her down the steps there and caused her to go into premature labor. And this was back in the 1970s, 1997, maybe, or 1997, 1977. I'm sorry, you have to excuse me, I am slightly tired at this point. But yeah, back in 1977, 78, sometime in that 2-year time span there, she went into premature labor and had a very healthy baby girl, considering the circumstances. The girl, I'm sure, is probably fine today. But yeah, that place just creeps me out to no end. I've heard about people getting smacked and poked and hit and kicked, and Mrs. Mackey got kicked down the steps, and all kinds of crazy things. I heard once that a guy sitting at the bar that was like a regular there got a phone call from a ghost going, "Please make those people quit singing. Their music is driving us crazy." Because between the time that it was a slaughterhouse in the 1800s and the time that Bobby Mackey bought it, it was a bar, a restaurant, and I think even a house of ill repute, if I'm remembering correctly. But that's what I've heard of Bobby Mackey's, and they're even making a 3-movie series out of Bobby Mackey's, from what I've heard. And Bobby Mackey's is excited about it. I'm going to pause here and talk some more about Bobby Mackey's, because I've got some more to say. Alright, hang on.